The hordes of Days Gone. They range from the smallest to the largest. Like them or hate them, you can't avoid them. You can encounter them during the daytime, and you will most definitely encounter them at night. They're always out. These hordes can appear very daunting, especially the larger ones. But when you go about taking out hordes using good, solid tactics, using the right equipment, any horde in Days Gone can be made light work of. Over the course of this video, I am going to show you everything you need to know in regards to effective horde killing. Because you can make life so much easier for yourself if you go about doing things in the right way. So this, folks, is my guide to effectively destroying any horde in Days Gone. Hi there, folks, Borislav247 here, and with a video from Days Gone that I've been looking to make for a long time. This, folks, is all about effective horde killing. Everything that you need to know is going to be included in this video. Whether you are a beginner or whether you are a veteran, there will be something here for everyone, but it is mainly aimed at people who have not really had much experience of playing Days Gone and no experience at all of taking on hordes. This will give you all the information and all the tactics that you need to get the jobs done effectively and efficiently. So from the very start of this video, I'm going to be showing all of the advantages that you can possibly give yourself that will hugely benefit you for when you do finally come face to face with the hordes. Not only will I show locations as well in order to get a great number of items very early at the start, I'll then go into showing in great detail about various kill techniques for the hordes, ranging from the smallest hordes at the start to the largest ones that you get near the end. And the reason why I've actually shown this particular screen here to start with is because your very first advantage is going to come from this page. So without any further ado, because I've waffled on and there is a lot of information to get through in this video, let's get to it. Right then, for one insanely huge advantage when taking on hordes, you actually, before you start your first playthrough, you want to be looking to take on one of the Days Gone challenges. Now these can be brutal, but I am only going to be highlighting one, and I have a very foolproof method of quite easily taking out this challenge to a gold score. The particular challenge is called the Ambush Camp Rush, and I'm going to go across to where it shows what the patch perk is here, and its bullets penetrate through more enemies. If you get a gold score on this particular challenge, that will give you +3 bullet penetration. And I'm going to show you all now the easiest way of getting this ambush camp completed. Now, for anybody that isn't interested in watching this, I will have this video chaptered, so you will be able to skip this particular challenge here if you don't want to see this, but I consider it so important that I feel it should be shown. Right from the very start, you're looking to turn to your left into that small camp area there. Make sure you get the multiplier up to +9. That way you know you've picked up every item that was available there. Then I look to get some cedar sapling. And now the game plan for this entire challenge is this. I'm looking to use residue bolts in order to get all of the people in this camp fighting each other. Now, I don't expect to kill them all using this method. I just want to get the numbers down from what it currently says as kills remaining 25. I want to get that down to less than 10. Ideally 8 or less. But in order to get this done, you need quite a number of these residue bolts. And this area here, very important because that is a location for nest residue. You have to pick that up. There is 3 areas in this game, and I will highlight where each one of them are. But Once I've got more residue bolts at my disposal, I just look for easy targets every time. And again, there's more cedar sapling there. That is required in order to craft the residue bolts. And of course, because this is, yeah, it's a tough camp, but you do get the luxury of survival vision, and you do get quite a strong deke to go about doing your business, but not really an issue with this particular method. You just need to, in general, stay to the outside of the camp. Take any shots that you feel that you can make safely in order to get other marauders under the influence of the residue bolts. And as well as this, obviously, you need to be finding these other locations where the nest residue is. And the second one is coming up right now. So, at this point, there is another step that is quite an important one. It just makes life so much easier. A mine that I picked up at the very start of this challenge, I'm going to place there beside that bunker entrance. That is simply to ensure that when a particular flamethrower guy comes out of there, he's not going to be an issue. You'll never see him because he'll be killed. But right now, I'm looking to make my way up to the top end of the camp, and very unusually, there is a marauder patrolling on the outer section. So that's fine. He's an easy target. That is the last of the residue bolts that I did have prepared there, so I need to make some new ones. And yeah, I'm fighting with the inventory wheel here. This is always an issue, but anybody who's played this game will tell you that. It doesn't just apply to this challenge, it's to when you're playing the main Days Gone game as well. But there we go. Now he's under the influence. He's going to do his thing. And the thing is, once they're under the influence, when you see that blue diamond on top of them, you know that guaranteed they are going to die, because the poison from the residue bolt will eventually kill them. So at this point here, I'm looking to make my way over to the last nest residue location. And it's right here. I am purposefully not picking up any other items at the moment, apart from the ones that are required for making nest residue bolts. And by the way, something else which, well, it's probably quite clear, but I should be saying anyhow, I'm trying to make sure that I am not seen. Because if you are spotted and the camp is alerted, that is it. Your run is effectively over. One of the biggest parts of this is ensuring that you are not seen throughout the entire run. The other thing that you do have to consider when doing this is that you ideally want to get 13 residue bolt kills. And on the top middle of the screen, just to the right of your actual score, and at the moment mine is saying 9,135 points, you can see 11 of 13. So that is telling me I just require 2 more kills. Now, this one here, he is armoured heavily on top, which is why I went for a low shot there. But now that I know I've got those 2 under the influence, guaranteed I'm going to get those 13 residue bolt kills that I need in order to bump up that score. And now I'm looking to get the BFG and a suppressor for it. Now I'm closer to the suppressor right now than what I am to the BFG, but the suppressor is right there.
Use for you.
So from here, just going to make my way up to the top end here, and it is starting to get a lot lighter now, so really have to be a little bit careful. But the biggest problems around this certain section is bear traps and noise traps. There is a great number in this camp, but if you watch where you're going, you'll be absolutely fine. But the BFG is right up here.
Let's see.
Now, want to make sure that the suppressor is on. You want to stay quiet for this. Now, the next part of this is all about taking out 5 of the last 6. Or, regardless of what you had left at this point, if it's 8 or less, you want to be taking out every other marauder apart from 1. And the one marauder that I always like to keep is at the other side of this camp, as far away as possible from all the items that I'm looking to be picking up very soon. But I don't start on this yet, because when I do start this particular part of the challenge, I want to make sure that there is no danger of me getting hit by any marauders. And there is a lot of items to pick up. Because right now, yes, I'm still 10,000 points shy of where I need to be, but I will get that. And right now, I'm looking for anybody in this area. I want to leave at least one, and I have already seen another up there, so that's one of the marauders I'm going to take out. Now it's just a case of finding the bloody rest of them. Yeah, because that watchtower up there, I always make sure just leave one up there, and I know there is one up there, so the rest will be down in this section. And yeah, that is another bear trap I need to watch for. Now, yeah, there we go. There is one of them.
Something's moving.
Now, the minimap on the bottom right is always a good indicator as well as to where your enemies are. When you start getting close, yes, you're going to see that red appear, and there is one actually behind me. Ah, he's right there. I was wondering why I didn't see him at first. Okay, there is another one over there. I do like to stay close to this rock area here because there is another bear trap in that particular section. But there we go, I've only got 2 left, and there we are. That is the one that I'm looking for. Yeah, I could have taken the shot there, but I'm just waiting until it comes out, so that guaranteed I will get him. And there we go, now I am in a fantastic position. I am still just shy of 5,000 points of where I need to be, but I've taken no damage, so as long as I don't take any damage throughout this entire run, I will get a bonus of 2,500 points. But even if I had taken any damage, this is the beauty of this method. I can get all the points that I need right here. Because now everything that I have left, whether it's been marauders that have been killed or any items that are lying around like this, now I'm going to start to pick everything up. I'm going to work on building that multiplier up, and I can do it safely up here because I've taken out all the threats. There is still one person in play, so the challenge will continue until I get him taken care of. And I can just merrily pick up all these items. And because in this particular challenge you're not expected to get the multiplier going quickly, you do get a lot of time once you start picking up these. So it's very easy to maintain the multiplier. Already you can see that that score is building up nicely. I can use survival vision as well to show me where the dead bodies are on the ground and any other items of interest that I'm looking to pick up. There's quite a number in here. So yeah, take the time to get all these. More items there. Now, I did pick up some items there that were with that nest residue earlier on, but that's not a problem. But there is more up here. And now it's heading around the other side of this camp. Yeah, again, more bear traps. Now, that plant there will also, well, mushrooms, they will also count. Now, there is something else that you can actually do in order to get the multiplier going up even further. I'll show this in a minute because there is a lot more items in here. And there's some in the next hut as well. Because all of your cocktails that you can craft, whenever you craft them, they will also improve your multiplier. So this is what I'm talking about. Stamina cocktails. I'm not bothered about using these because I don't need to. I can take my sweet time here. But you can see for every one of these over in this section that you craft, the multiplier goes up and you get more points. And of course, the higher that multiplier is going up, yes, the more points you're getting. So I could have even walked through that noise trap there because the one marauder that is left is on the other side of this camp, so he wouldn't have heard it anyhow. But just to be super safe, I'm just going to keep moving on here without making any noise. Another noise trap there. I'll actually cut that. There is so many items you can get the multiplier going up pretty high. And there we go, 25,000 points. That will ensure that I have got the gold score for this challenge, and that will ensure that I get the +3 bullet penetration that I'm wanting before starting any horde killing. There is another skill that you can pick up when you're playing the main game that is very similar to this one, where it's one bullet and 2 kills, but this one even surpasses that. If you're going for headshots and you have this, you'll be surprised how many freakers you can take out, especially once you get some decent weapons. So even though at the very start of the game, when you have smaller hordes, you're not really going to get the best of benefits from this because the weapons that you're using are so bad, it's still an insane advantage to have early on. And for horde killing, you need to have this advantage. Even though I've already got the score taken care of, I'm just going on just to show where these other items are, so that if in your playthrough, if you're not quite there, you just keep following where I've been showing in order to pick up all these items. But there is a number up here as well, but I'm not going to bother with these. It's just a case of now just taking this guy out, and I made a pretty piss poor job there, but never mind. There we go. That is the job done there. Get confirmation of the score, and I'll now go to the page that will show me exactly what I have earned. And there we go. Just going to go right over there. As you can see now, it's actually showing +3 penetration increase. And you will actually see the patch appear on Deacon's Cut when you play the main Days Gone game, because any of these patches are applicable to the main Days Gone game. Now, I'm just going to go through the rest of them, what you can potentially get. You only actually need the one that I have shown, but any of these others will benefit you in some way for the main Days Gone game. Some are better than others, but they are hidden behind some really difficult challenges, which is why I'm not pushing anybody to go for anything else. You already have the best patch you can get for horde killing if you take out the Ambush Campers challenge. And now that that's taken care of, I'm going to show a bit more information about what exactly you're going to be facing with these hordes in Days Gone. Right then, at the very start of the game, when you finally get the map fully opened for Belknap and Cascade, this is what you're going to see. And there's a great number of hordes that reside in both of these regions. Belknap here, as you can see, going down the list here, it tells you hordes 0 of 7. And for Cascade, there's even more. It's 0 of 8. However, there is only 7 hordes in total that unlock at the start, because the hordes in Days Gone unlock as you progress through the game. Now, very important things to know about these hordes. Generally, during the daytime, they will normally have a daytime location that they will reside at, usually that is sheltered. Now, that's not always the case that they will guaranteed to be there, because 1 or 2 of the hordes will actually get out even during the day if the weather is not too sunny, if it's cloudy, raining, like Scotland. Yeah, 1 or 2 of these hordes will actually go out even during the daytime, so you're never guaranteed that you're going to be safe. But at night, guaranteed, every horde that is on this map that has been unlocked will be out roaming. So I will give you a perfect example of 1 or 2 of the hordes. I will show where all 7 of these hordes are later on when I bring the map up again, but right now I just want to show where the Proxy Falls horde. Now, if you go down to Copeland's camp, move along over this way, I'll zoom in a wee bit, and it's actually, you can see a bridge section down here, and the Proxy Falls Horde have a cave that is right here, and you will always find them there during the daytime. However, at night time, normally from round about between 6 and 7 o'clock at night, they will start moving until about the same time in the morning. They will be at either a watering location, because they always need to go somewhere in order to drink, and they always need to go to somewhere in order to eat. And if you look closely on the maps, you can actually find the eating areas. For this particular horde, if you go down here, and you can see right now what looks like a lot of blood, even though that is as close as I can zoom up, that is the feeding location of the Proxy Falls Horde at night time. Another example, and this is one of the most famous hordes in Days Gone, who are right up here. They're right beside the Horse Lake Nero checkpoint, which I have already got marked on the map. Now, the Death Train Horde reside in these carriages here, and they can come out with those carriages, especially if any marauders happen to be going by, bikers, animals will get them out. In fact, animals will get hordes out of any location during the daytime, so always be aware of that as well. But at night time, generally the drinking area is the nearest water area available. That's not always the case, but for this particular horde, it is, because they normally go drinking over here. But as you can see, yeah, their feeding grounds are all in this section here. Not difficult at all to spot for that particular one. And the final horde in Cascade that is unlocked at the very start is the White King Mine Horde. And again, they are actually by a Nero research area. Up here, that is where their cave is. When they go out at night to drink, they will come over to this area right here. And in order to eat, you actually struggle to see it on the map here, but there is an area right there where they go to. And throughout the course of the game, as you unlock more of these hordes, you will notice whenever you find their daytime location, usually you don't have to look much further in order to find out where their drinking and feeding areas are. But do be aware of this. Although they all come out at night, it's far more dangerous at night, because the freakers in general are all out at night, not just the hordes. So if you're looking to take out any of the hordes in nighttime scenarios, yeah, do be aware. You will have a far tougher job. In some cases, though, I will stress this, in one or two cases, it can be advantageous, because one or two of the areas that certain hordes go to at night can benefit you hugely. But there we go. That is a brief introduction to the hordes of Days Gone. That is what you're going to be facing. So let's get on to all the advantages that you can potentially get from taking out certain things early game. So I'm going to start with one of the biggest advantages that you can get extremely early. And it's all to do with ambush camp rewards. At the very start of the game, you will get an ambush camp that you have to take out, because it is one of the main missions. When you do this, you will eventually, as you do for all the ambush camps, be asked to find the bunker location. Once you find it, it's just a case of getting down the steps. Yep, get Deke standing up. From here, just looking to get to an area where there is going to be a map, and you have officially unlocked that particular ambush camp. And this is the very first one that you have to do. So, I'm showing this particular part here for a reason, because until you have unlocked your first ambush camp, you will not be able to check what I'm about to show. But now that I've got that taken care of, yep, and I'm getting more tutorials here because it is the start of the game, I'm now going to move on to the storylines from here. Just want to scroll down until I get to Ambush Camp Hunter, and here are all the rewards now, and you can see what you're going to get. I've already unlocked the spike bat by taking out one ambush camp. If you take out a second, you get one of the best craft recipes in the entire game, and it is stamina cocktails. If you take out a third ambush camp, you will get the use of smoke bombs that you can craft. And the list goes on here. Truthfully, the ones that are going to help you the most when it comes to horde hunting and killing are stamina cocktails, smoke bombs, proximity bombs, and attractor bombs. But of course, the latter two do require a great number of ambush camps before you can get those unlocked. The ones that I really wanted to highlight are the stamina cocktails and the smoke bombs, but the stamina cocktails especially. Stamina is such an important part of Days Gone, and when you're taking on hordes, sometimes things can go wrong. It's always nice to have a backup where you can actually run away. And staying on the stamina theme, let's move on to the next set of advantages. Which brings me nicely onto injectors. Injectors can be found in Nero sites and Nero research areas throughout the game. There is 30 of them in total, and the very first one you get very early in the game indeed. You have to open up this particular Nero site, and eventually when you do get in here, you will have the chance of using your first injector. And you have 3 categories that you can improve what you want to do with every injector. And these are, once it shows up on screen,
What's this?
There we are. Health, stamina, and focus. I always recommend that the first injector that you use is focus. After this, start working on your stamina. Because as much as health is important in this game, if you get caught by a horde when you're trying to run away because your stamina is gone, trust me, it doesn't matter how much health you've bloody got, you're not going to last long. Right then, the next section is about choosing the right skills early, because the skill trees that you have to choose from in Days Gone are melee, ranged, and survival. And it will actually come as quite a shock as to what I'm going to be recommending here. Melee combat, yeah, you don't want to be bothering too much with that at all. But the very first skill that I recommend that you get is in the ranged combat section. But only one. And it's this one right here. It is called Focus Shot, and you have to purchase this in order to be able to use focus mode in Days Gone, where you can effectively slow down your gun firing, very much like Matrix style. But from here, after that one skill, you would be thinking, yeah, you're going to be going for everything else in the range section for the weapons. That's not the case. The best possible skill that you can get in Days Gone as early as possible is this one right here. It's called Carry That Weight. This is insane in terms of the advantages it gives you, because you can hold extra items. And I mean, it pretty much doubles what you can carry. And given that the next section I am going to be showing about all of the items that you need and are going to be using in order to take out hordes effectively, that one is an absolute must. Now, only after you have the Carry That Weight skill purchased do I recommend you go back to the range section. And I'm just going to go through all of the particular ones that you can get your hands on here. Move and aim a ranged weapon with more precision. This is in the first tier, nice one to have. Ability to follow melee attack with a ranged cycle for massive damage. I would probably leave that one. Improves the initial recovery and duration of a focus cocktail. Very handy to have that one. But you need to work through these in order to get to some of the better ones. Reduces the cooldown of focus. Another handy one to have. Moving on. When in focus, ranged weapons will have an increased power to stop weaker enemies. Yes, this is quite an important one to have early game. Moving on. Ability to reload ranged weapons while sprinting. This one is huge, although it doesn't sound it. Significantly reduces ranged weapon recoil. It's not an essential, but it's very handy to have. Significantly increases crossbow bolt damage. For horde killing, you don't need to worry about that one. Increases ranged weapon accuracy. Deadshot, yes, this is one of the best that you can get your hands on. Moving on, you have quick reload. Reduces reload times for ranged weapons. Yes, when you're taking on hordes, that is an essential. No longer consume focus when reloading a ranged weapon. That's definitely a good help. But the last three are the biggies. Increases ammo capacity for all ranged weapons, up the ante. An exceptionally good one to have. And the next one is what I mentioned about earlier on. It's all to do with more bullet penetration. 2 birds, 1 bullet. An exceptionally good one to have for horde killing. But of course, if you've played the Ambush Campers Challenge, you already have good bullet penetration. So that added on makes you insanely powerful. And head rush, headshots, recover health. All very handy to have. Right then, folks, moving on to some of the most important items that you will ever pick up in the game. Throwables and explosives, because these are essential when it comes to effective horde killing. Trust me, at the very start, when the guns that you have are absolute rubbish, these are the way that you go forward when taking out hordes. Now, before I start working my way down the list, it's worth noting that napalm molotovs are at the bottom of this list for a very good reason. Although they do exceptionally high damage, they are an end game item. You have to be well through the Days Gone campaign before you will ever get the chance to use these. But the rest of the items are shown here, with the exception of remote bombs, because they are only available once you get to the Lost Lake region. The rest of these items are readily available from the very start of the game. But do be aware of this. All the figures that I am showing here are the maximum damage values that you can get from these items. You're not guaranteed every time you will get these figures in terms of kills, unless the horde is extremely well bunched. So do be aware of that. But moving down the list here, grenades will get 30 freaker kills maximum. Proximity mines, which are the more powerful versions of the proximity items that you can use, will get you 30 kills. But do be aware when using these, folks, because they are frickin' lethal. Be careful with them. Pipe bombs will do 20 damage max. Attractor bombs, likewise, will do 20 damage max. And the proximity bombs, which are not quite as powerful as the proximity mines, will still do 20 damage. Remote bombs, like I say, you don't get them until you get to the Lost Lake region, but they will do 10 maximum damage. And Molotovs vary from 6 to 15, depending on how well or how poorly bunched they are. So now that you know what damage these can potentially do, it really is all about a numbers game, especially at the start. But of course, you need to know where to find all these items. So for the next section of this video, I'm going to show the locations of where to get your hands on all of these bad boys. Right then, folks, location 1 is one of the areas that you actually go to very early during the prologue section of Days Gone. And it's located in the south section of Belknap. Just going to show on the map exactly where this is, but chances are you've already been to this area. And if you missed these two particular items, this is how you go about getting them, because there is an attractor available here and also a Molotov available here. As well as this, of course, there is a crazy amount of kerosene that you can use in order to craft more Molotovs. So if you're a little bit low on kerosene, this is the area to go to. But in order to get the attractor, you first need to go into this house. You need to get the combination for the safe that is in the next room. And it's just a turn to the right here. And once you get this lock open, you get your hands on an attractor very early game. But do be aware of this. Although the majority of these items are respawnable, that attractor that I've just picked up from that safe is not. Once you get that one, you'll never see it again. But moving on to the next building over here, the easiest way to get this Molotov is to go in one of the windows, and then it's out the back window here, and the Molotov is just lying there on the floor. Okay, on to location 2. Right then, location 2 is located very near a Nero site that you take on very early in the Days Gone game. The site in question is the Little Bear Lake Nero site. That's my location there, and as you can see, that is the site. So the hut is just to the north of this. And very interestingly, later on in the game, this is the location of a horde. But they're not here right now. Inside here, there is a Molotov, but the big prize in here is the proximity mine. As well as that, there is ammo, and there's also one or two other items in there. Now, location 3. This is probably the best location of the lot, certainly in Cascade. It's the Hydro Dam, and it's located over in the Middle East section of the map for Cascade. Just marking roughly where I'm going to be going here, because it's at height. In fact, from that camera view there, that is perfect. You do have a lot of climbing to do, but once you get up here, it's a case of Merry Christmas, because this area is absolutely loaded with good items. So once I get to the top here, the first item will be on the floor, and it's another proximity mine. You want those, they are the more powerful of the mines that you can get. Going on here, there is a flashbang and a frag grenade. You also have a med kit there. I'm full at the moment, so don't require that. There is also a sledgehammer. I don't bother, I usually always prefer a machete. But here we go, more items, and a tractor bomb and a pipe bomb. As well as this, some ammunition. There's also a 22 repeater there, should you require a weapon like that. And on to location 4. We're now into Belknap for these. These two last locations are both located in Marion Forks. This particular one is a farmhouse that's located to the far east of Marion Forks. So again, just showing exactly where I am on the map. Now, in order to make your way into this house, you have to go in via a very specific route, because it is locked up. But you're looking for the hay bales over here to the side of the house. Once you've got up there, in through this window, and this is where all the goodies are. You have an attractor bomb, a proximity bomb, and another proximity mine. As well as this, there's a hatchet on the floor there, and there's ammunition and an SAF-12 if you don't have one already. Right then, the fifth and final location I'm going to show is also in the Marion Forks town. So this is in the northern area of Belknap, but it's over on the other side of town from the farmhouse that I just showed. And this is the precise location right here. And very similar to the last house, you have to enter this house via the top windows in order to get access to these items. If you go in through the bottom section, you will find that the doors at the top are locked. So again, from the side of the house, from here, in this window section here, and there's a number of items in here that are of use. There's ammunition, there's also a sniper rifle, med kit right there, but these are the prized items. Frag grenade and an attractor. There's also more ammunition down on the floor there. Now, before leaving this area, in this room here, there is a flashbang. Now, in order to access the last lot of items, you need to go back out this window and then in through this last one right here. And the last items are a pipe bomb that is in the toilet. As well as that, there's a sterilizer there and whatnot. There's bodies that you can loot, but there's a fully crafted Molotov, and of course a med kit should you require any more of those. And that is now a deacon that is ready to take on hordes. Let's just show exactly what the haul is that I've got from visiting those 5 locations. 2 frag grenades now, 2 pipe bombs, 3 Molotovs, and I'm able to craft more because that is always a craftable item from the very start. 3 proximity mines. I also have a proximity bomb, and not only that, I also have 2 normal attractors. I have 2 attractor bombs. And I also have 2 flashbangs. As well as this, I have smoke bombs as well that I can use. Let the carnage begin. Right then, in order to get started with horde killing, you've got to know where the hordes actually are. So I'm going to show the 7 hordes that are available from the very start of the game. The first 3 are in Cascade, and these are the Proxy False Horde in the far south, 50 strong. The Death Train Horde and the White King Mine Horde are both in areas where you can pick up injectors, so they are already well marked on the map. And both of those hordes are also 50 strong. In fact, of the 7 hordes that you have at the very beginning of the game, only 1 is larger than 50. So in order to show these last 4, I do need to get the map moved up a touch, because 2 of these hordes are in the far north and south regions of Belknap. In the far north, you have the Shadow Lake Horde. In the far south, you've got the Twin Craters Horde. The Lava Arch Horde is in the centre of Belknap. All of those hordes are 50 strong, but the last one, the Pat Jens Lake Horde, which is actually very near Tucker's Camp, is a whopping 100 strong. So a lot of potential strategies can be applied to all of these hordes, and I'm going to go through them in great detail coming up with the next few sections. Right then, the very first horde that you're likely to be taking on in Days Gone is going to be the Death Train Horde. You pass them quite a lot at the very start of the game, so this is a perfect example of checking out what your options are, because for every single horde you want to be doing a scout of the area before attempting to take them on, because you'll be amazed at the advantages that you can actually see just from checking out the locations. One of the biggest advantages here is that vehicle over there. Big, large tanker, and it will take out 50 freakers if they are near that particular vehicle. And I will be showing that as my first option. But there is also a great number of explosive items around here. You can see them all over the place. So you could potentially do an explosive run. But you will need stamina cocktails for this, because at the beginning, Deacon is fairly weak that way. Not only that, you look around this area. Yep, there is a water tower up there. And you can climb up it. The freakers cannot. So there is a very safe option available there as well. Right then, here's where we finally get busy. Throughout the course of the video, I'm going to show a great number of methods and tactics that you can employ to take out the hordes. And to start with the Death Train Horde, I'm going to be making full use of an attractor, because that tanker up there is just too good a target. This horde is 50 strong. In fact, all of the hordes I'm going to be showing at the start are 50 strong. These are what I consider to be the small hordes. I know even 50 sounds quite daunting, but trust me, when you see some of the hordes that you will encounter later on in the game, you will you'll be very grateful for the chance of taking on hordes with this low a number. But for this particular method to work here, all I need to do is to get their attention. A little bit of gunfire might as well take out 1 or 2 of their numbers, but now I'm running. I want an attractor, I want it thrown just right there, and then I'm running past it. This is very important. You do not want any of the freakers following you. You want them all to congregate beside that tanker, and an attractor generally lasts around 9 seconds. And there we have it. That is a very good tactic to employ if you ever see any of these tankers. I wish there was more of them in the game, but unfortunately there's not. Thankfully, this particular horde, yes, is made very light work of indeed due to that tanker. Now, it's only after you take out your first horde that you can access the Horde Killer storyline. And this is where you see exactly what you can get from starting to take out more hordes. Now, the one at the very top there is the most important of them all, the SMP-9. And it's telling you 10% in order to get that particular weapon. That is only 4 hordes in order to get your hands on one of the best, if not the best, sidearm in the game. It's certainly worth having in order to take out hordes, because once you do have that weapon, you can employ some different tactics. Right now, in the last horde that I just took out there, I was using an SAF-12 and just had a standard 9mm gun, which really do not do very much when taking on the hordes. Certainly for running and gunning purposes. In fact, you really shouldn't be thinking about running and gunning for quite some time. All of the explosives and throwables that you have should be put to good use. Because at the start of the game, in fact for most of the game actually, it really is all about a numbers game when it comes to taking on hordes. If you know the size of your enemy and you know the damage that your throwables and explosives can do, yeah, you can come up with some very good strategies and take out the hordes very easily. Now, it will be quite some time before you get some of these other weapons, but you can potentially get the IDF pop before leaving the north. So, do be aware, the more horde hunting you do, the better weapons you will get. Now, I'm going to show a second method for this particular horde. If you want to be super cautious, this is the way to go about doing it. I did point out before that there is a water tower that could be taken advantage of, so I'm going to show this being done right now. Very important though, I do want to get the entire horde's attention, which is why I'm shooting at both carriages there. Now, at this point as well, there is actually an explosive item there. You know what? I'm going to use it. I won't take out very many of them, but it'll certainly keep their attention. Yep. Most of them, if not all of them, are coming over. So I just need to get over to this ladder, start making my way up. And the best part of this, in order to make kills, is actually at the top section where the ladder is. You want to be taking them out from here. Because they run very nicely around this section here. There are other areas at this water tower that you can potentially try and take them out from, but trust me when I say this is the best one. Now, the SAF-12 that I'm using here, you can actually pick up one of these from the very first ambush camp that you attack in the game, which you take on extremely early. Not only that, but there is one of these weapons as well that you can get in Belknap, and I've already shown the location for this. One of the locations where you can pick up some very good explosives and throwables has an SAF-12 there, so you shouldn't have any problems getting your hands on one of these, because this is the best weapon that you can get early game, unless you're playing NG+, of course, but this is not dealing with that. Now, although this method is extremely safe, yes, it is a little bit time consuming, because you don't have the luxury of the horde lining up in a fashion where you can take them out very quickly. And obviously the weapons that you will be using at the start do not make your life any easier, which is why most of the tactics that I show for the early game hordes are all to do with the explosives and throwables. They make very light work of them indeed. But right now, yeah, you just want to get off this water tower quite quickly, and I do take a bit of damage there. Then that's a handy way of getting off the tower. Also gives you a little bit of space to take out the last of the freakers. Now, I've not got notification yet of a horde kill here. That's okay. One or two are obviously still up by the train. This does sometimes happen, because you're taking a horde away from their natural daytime location. When you start getting towards boundaries, because Virtually all of the hordes are extremely territorial, with one exception that you'll see later on. Then, yeah, you can use this as well to your advantage, but sometimes you don't get all of the horde's numbers if you're taking them too far away. So these last freakers that I need to find, I will take care of in just a minute, but what I'm doing right now is looking for more ammunition. Attacks can come from anywhere in Days Gone. You always need to be ready. So there we go, that's some more ammunition for the assault rifle and a 9mm. Not only that, anytime that you see any police vehicles, you can always open the boots at the back of the vehicles in order to get more ammunition. But do be aware that the ammo that you get from them will never ever respawn. Worth noting, and I will, there is a section later on where I will go into a bit more information about this, but your explosives and throwables do respawn, and I will show a very good way of ensuring that you can get your hands on more items very quickly should you need them. But right now, yeah, that is a Death Train Horde taken care of that way. One more run that I want to show. You'll see a few explosive runs taking place throughout the course of this video. I just felt it only right to show one for this area here because it is loaded with explosives. So the only thing that I'm going to actually save on here is an attractor. I've already shown the absolute best method possible for taking out this horde. One attractor and one shot on that tanker. But if you want to save your attractors, this is another option that you have available to you for this particular horde. You're not going to have this option with every horde in the game because a lot of these areas simply do not have explosives, but this area does. Now, if you're doing any explosive run, make sure you have stamina cocktails at the ready, because Butte is extremely stamina-wise at the very start of the game. But what I'm going to do here is just run all over the shot here and pick off various targets. And they are plentiful in this particular area. Now, I'm slowing down here on purpose. I'm trying to bunch them as much as possible. And that is not easy to do when you're not using an attractor. And of course, I'm making sure I am well away from that tanker before hitting it. If you're too close, you'll go up with the freakers, so be aware of this. The smaller items like the barrels, yep, you still need to keep your distance, but you can be a damn sight closer to them than what you ever can to that tanker. And as you play the game of Days Gone more, you will find out just how close you can actually get to certain items and still be safe. Right now, just employ the smoke bomb. Never a bad tactic in order to slow them down, and sometimes helps to bunch them. Now, here, I'm looking to take out most of the numbers. This is always very handy. If you have something that you can climb on right beside an explosive, do it. Because there we go. They've bunched nicely there for me, and I've taken out most of them. Now, what I have left, I don't even need to contend with explosives. It's just hunting them down. I've got the numbers to virtually nothing. I can't imagine there being any more than 2 freakers that I haven't taken out so far. Oh, there we go. There we go, that's the Death Train Horde. 3 very good tactics to show for that particular horde. Now, moving on to the Proxy Falls Horde. And this is where you're going to start to see a lot of combinations with the various throwables and explosives that you've managed to collect. And the next few hordes that I'm going to be showing are all going to be taken out with a number of combinations. Because you will hear me mention this quite a lot when it comes to the hordes, but it really is a numbers game when it comes to the hordes. But right now, I'm looking for potential areas, should I want to drag them too far out of the cave where I can potentially take them out. Bridges are always fantastic to use. You can funnel them on bridges, and not only that, they cannot flank you when you're putting them into tighter spaces. Because if you have a horde chasing you in an open area, you will see just how quickly they start to fan out. They will try and flank you from both sides. Getting kills can be difficult. But for the first demonstration here, I'm going to be showing how to take them out with one proximity mine and one attractor bomb. Now, proximity mine, I showed it earlier on in the video, will take out 30 of their numbers. I want to just get in there quick, get that proximity mine planted on the ground, and then immediately do a dive roll. That ensures that you have the space that you're not going to go up with the freakers. Now, because I know it's a 50 strong horde, I know that 30 of their numbers are already gone, and this attractor bomb will take out 20. Job done. Now, the next method is just going to be a slightly different combination. I'm going to start with the grenade because the horde is in a cave and they're all bunched up. So you're going to get the maximum kills for your item. So again, just going to head up here. Just want to get that thrown off there. Even though they're starting to run out, they're not going to get out far enough without avoiding that blast. And of course, as with before, I just need to lay an attractor bomb down. But I was taking the time there to ensure that all the numbers were out. Now, I'm always at the ready with a gun, but I know it's not needed. Now, the last method. I haven't used a bridge to its full advantage yet, but I'm going to on this particular run. And here's something else that I'm going to employ. This is something that people that have watched my videos will know that I employ this tactic quite a lot, but I wanted to show it especially on this video because it's all about horde tactics. The bike. You will be amazed how much protection you can get from the bike. Because once I get the horde chasing me, I'm going to pass that particular bike, then move to the same side as the bike, and you'll find that the majority of them will be slowed down heavily. It won't stop them entirely. So again, I'm going to go for the proximity mine. I think most people will prefer using the grenade option to get the first 30 kills. And now, I'm waiting for the last of the horde. And you will notice that until I get my hands on an SMP-9, I don't tend to use too many options involving the guns. But given that you funnel the horde so well in this area, it's definitely a method worth using. And it also saves on your items. Now, the third horde that I'm looking to take out here is the Shadow Lake Horde. Another of the hordes that is unlocked from the very start. They're located in the far north of Belknap, or the northeast, if you want a bit more precise. And for this particular tactic, I'm going to be showing how effective mines can be when you deploy them early. Now, I'm not going to be using a proximity mine. I'm going to be using a proximity bomb. Because I have no guarantees that I'm going to get 30 of the numbers when the mine goes off. If you deploy it early, obviously the very first horde that comes along is going to trigger the mine. So, I want the mine placed outside. The reason why I'm doing an early deployment here is because there is a ledge there, and they are going to bunch a little bit more than normal. So, I'm actually going to use a Molotov for once. It's not going to take out a great deal of the numbers, but it will get the numbers down a wee touch. As you can see there, yep, the mine did its job. Now I'm going for an attractor bomb to finish them off. And I will take the time to shoot one or two of them before that attractor bomb goes off. Now, this is something I wanted to show for anyone who is struggling with some of these hordes. Sometimes you will get to a daytime location, and they're simply not there. Now, you could say, well, do you know what? They're maybe out wandering. But sometimes that's not the case. Watch the minimap on the bottom right. I've gone away from them for a bit. All of a sudden, yep, you're seeing that red appear. And it's telling you there's enemies up there somewhere. And in this case, it's the Horde. They have spawned in. This sometimes happens. Curse of the remaster. Truth be told, even in the original version, this would sometimes happen, but in the remaster, this can happen a lot. So if you ever do get a Horde that is not there during the daytime, just take the time to try that. Now, for this here, I'm going to go with the proximity mine and then attract the bomb. Just to finish this lot off. Again, this is a tactic that I've already shown, but it's a very effective one. I really, on this run here, just wanted to highlight how to take out a Horde if they're not there when you first get there. Right, the Twin Craters Horde. A tactic that I haven't shown much of at all yet, but is a huge one to employ when you are taking on the Days Gone Hordes. Twin Craters Horde, it is in Belknap, it is in the far southeast. In fact, there you go, you can see Copeland's camp, that's not that far away from it. But this particular Horde are never going to see me. Because, although they are in a cave section, you've got a great number of areas that you can take cover in. Now, you don't want one that is too close to the cave, because you do run the risk of them being able to see you. But this one here will do the job perfectly. So, I'm going to start with a flashbang. You do also have the option of firing off a few rounds with one of your guns, but I do not recommend it because you get some of the Hordes that when they come up the cave will actually start coming towards your position. If you just throw a flashbang, you will not get this issue. But right now I've got enough of them out, so now I'm going with an attractor bomb. I know that's going to take out 20 of their numbers. I'm waiting with a grenade because I know they're going to congregate as soon as that blast had gone off. And there we go. The grenade afterwards just took care of them perfectly. And of course, because that is the fourth Horde that I've taken care of, that has now unlocked the SMP-9. A fantastic weapon to use, extremely fast firing, and also opens up more opportunities for more tactics that I can employ, because there's some very nice ones that you can use, especially on the Hordes that are of 50 or less. Right, very important to know, folks, once you've unlocked the SMP-9, you still need to equip it. And the way to do this is to find a gun locker. You can get these at any of the Nero sites that you've opened up, ambush camps, or even Copeland's and Tucker's. You'll go into the sidearm section and it's right there. Not only that, you can also buy ammunition for it as well. Right then, now that I have the SMP-9 in play, this is a fantastic Horde to showcase what the SMP-9 can do. It's the Lava Cave Horde. They're located centrally in the Belknap region, and this particular Horde, there's not a great deal of options that are presented with from the surroundings. But they are in the cave section, and I'm going to make full use of the SMP-9 here. Now, if you happen to get the extra bullet penetration as well that I showed how to get at the very start by completing the Ambush Camp Rush challenge, just watch how effective a frickin' SMP-9 can be. I've just thrown out a standard attractor, and I'm just going to go to town with them here. Because it's such a fast firing weapon, and also the fastest weapon that you can reload in the entire game, you can make sure that this Horde never leaves that cave. Now, going to employ a slight variation on this. I'm going to go with an attractor again. Now, because the SMP9 is so quick, I'm still going to get some shots off when I show this method here. But the difference is here, they're not going to get near me. So the attractor gives you a good 9 seconds or so. And because I know I've got the time to take down some of the numbers, I'm looking to take out ideally around 20 or so. I know I've probably got easily 20 here. I could maybe have gone with a pipe bomb at this point, but I'm going with a grenade just to ensure. And there we go. Right. Now, the last one that I'm going to employ here, just going to use some slightly different tactics. I'm just going to ensure that they're not going to be getting out of this area in a hurry. Because I've got the bike there, I'm going to employ a mine. By the way, the bike will be fine. It's really one of these bizarre things in Days Gone where a mine or a grenade or something like that will not do any damage to it at all. But one sniper in Days Gone can frickin' just about destroy your bike. It's a go figure moment. Okay, I've got their attention. And there we go. Right then, moving on to one of the hordes that is unlocked from the very start of the game in Cascade. Now, I've purposefully left this one until I had an SMP9 at my disposal to use, because this particular horde are located in 2 different sections within this mine that they hang out in. Now, I'm looking at potential options here. Yep, there is bush areas that you can use for stealth. Also up here, there is a bridge section that I could use, potentially. But I'm going to employ a slightly different method. And again, I'm going to make full use of the bike. Not enough people in Days Gone use this tactic, and you really should. Because the bike is, it really is one of the best weapons that you can have at your disposal at times. And on this occasion, I'm going to use the bike to keep them all boxed in the very outside area here of this mine. I can get up no problem because I can leap over the wooded section that I'm going to use to get in. But the horde are always going to come at you in the quickest way that they can see. I will make sure that I'm placed behind the bike, and just watch how this goes down. I'm going in with a pipe bomb to start with. That'll take out 20 of the numbers, but because I know that they're in 2 different sections of this mine, I'm looking to get an attractor bomb there. Again, I've got no worries at all about any damage to the bike because it's clearly made of adamantium. But now, the last of the horde, yeah, they are getting through there eventually, but they are getting so badly held up. I'm just taking my sweet time and taking them out. Done. Now then, the next horde that I'm going to show for a few other tactics is the Cascade Highway Horde. Located in Cascade, but do be aware, this particular horde does not unlock until you reach the Lost Lake region. Just worth pointing out. But wanted to show this one because there is some very nice tactics that can be employed that I haven't shown yet. I have shown a stealth method, but I haven't shown a stealth method from height. This one affords you that luxury. There is a ledge there, but I'm not using that one. I want to get right up to the very top here because I have a bit of cover from this rock area and a fantastic area that I can actually see everything that's going on as well. So one flashbang in play, won't take long for this lot to appear. Once the first lot come out, I'm going with an attractor bomb, obviously just to group them up. I know I'll get the 20 kills, then I'm going to go in with a frag grenade right after this. Anytime when you have a super height advantage like this, you want to take advantage of it. And there we go. How quick was that? Right then, another method that just has to be shown is all to do with the location of this horde, because it's the pathway that you have to take in order to get to this horde that is so interesting. And it'll become very clear when I take a look down here. You can see it's rocks on both sides. And it's a narrow lane. Yeah, this is perfect for horde killing. But I always like to reduce the numbers, so you know what, I'm just going to fire a grenade in there. That's going to take the numbers down to, well, it should be around about 20. Given that I threw it right in the cave, I can't imagine it taking out anything less than 30. So I'm now just waiting patiently for the last of this horde to come out. And the bike, again, is simply going to be in place as a slight blockade. It's not going to stop them entirely, but it will slow them down a hell of a lot. And they're really making me wait here as well. Yeah, it's not like they're never going to come out. That sort of noise is always going to get their attention. But here we go now. Yeah, one of them's gone around, but I always make a point of staying on the same side as the bike is on, because freakers are always looking to get to you in the quickest way possible. Now then, moving on to another horde. Again, this is a horde that you normally will not see until you have reached the Lost Lake region. But I wanted to show this one because there is again some new tactics that I can show for this one. And this is all to do with a particular section of fence line. Now, this particular horde, there's a great number of areas that you can potentially take them out from. The bridge here especially is fantastic, and I will use it on one of the other methods I show for them. But it's that fence line up there that is so important. Because although hordes can get to you from most areas, there's certain things that they simply cannot climb. And if you have a way of being able to redirect a horde, you can use it to your advantage. But not only that, where the fence line is for this particular method that I'm going to be showing is stretching how far this horde are actually going to come out for me. It's at their limits to how far they will actually go. You'll see as this plays out that a lot of the horde will actually start to lose interest. So I'm just getting their attention, a few shots there, might as well. Now, just making sure that I've got good numbers out. You're never guaranteed that you're going to get all of them, but when you go into a cave and start firing, usually you get all of their numbers. Now again, this bridge is a fantastic area that can be taken advantage of, and I will show it in the next run. But right now, I really want to show this area up here. And it's not that there's a number of areas like this in the Days Gone world. This is just one of the first ones that you will come across like this. Now, not only do you have a very nice cliff section up here that you can have them running towards you, but once you get through that gap, they will start trying to get you from the other side. And of course, when they move away, that's when you can take them out nice and easy. But not only that, now you can see just how badly I've split up this particular horde. Because now what I'm going to do is to start heading back over to the cave and picking them off. And when you have the SMP-9 at your disposal to do this, yeah, it's a very easy affair indeed. So, just heading up this way. This is a good tactic to employ with a great number of hordes, because virtually all the hordes in Days Gone are like this. You get so far away from their daytime location and then they will stop chasing you eventually and start walking back, where you can pick them off very nicely indeed. It's not just limited to this horde. But I haven't got confirmation of the horde kill yet, so there is definitely some that I've got back into the cave. But surprisingly quite a lot. I could have used a pipe bomb there, but you know what? SMP-9 does the job nicely. Right, again, couldn't possibly show this area without showing how to use this bridge effectively. Again, it's all to do with the bike. I'm going to create a barrier that they can't get past, or at least will take them a long time to get past. This horde is so small that when they get over to this area, they're not going to have the numbers in order to move that bike. So I'm very effectively protected. So here we go. Just another run up here, get their attention. And yeah, you know what? This time I'll take out some of the numbers. Molotov's not going to take out a great deal of them, but it will get their attention. And the rest of them, I'm just going to take out the SMP-9. Might as well get a few shots off there, and I did actually take a hit for once. It does happen. So from here, again, I can jump over that section, then get behind the bike. Very important, because that's where you want to guide the horde. But the beauty here is they've got a bit of a run in order to get to your position. And when you've got one of the fastest firing weapons in the game, and the fastest to reload, you don't stand a chance. And yeah, there's so few of them. Sorry, there's so few of the numbers now. I'm just going back up here to clean them out. Whenever taking on any hordes, your priority is always to get them down to the lowest possible numbers to make it safe to get the cleanup in place. There we go. There was a couple that didn't appear. Right then, the next horde that I'm going to be showing is the Marion Forks horde. And I wanted to show this very horde for one specific reason. Because sometimes the game throws you with an unexpected advantage due to their location. And this is one of them. Now, this is again a horde that will only unlock once you have reached Lost Lake. So do be aware of that. If you are not at Lost Lake yet, you'll never see this lot. But once you do, this is how to effectively take care of this lot without even using any of your resources, just apart from a gun. And in this case, I'm going to be using an MWS. The SMP-9 would do the job just as well. But it's right here, because at the very top of this cave section, yep, there is a big gaping hole. There's actually areas that you can get down into here as well. But if you stay at the very top here, just get their attention, and you can just pick them all off very safely indeed. Truth be told, this is actually one of the strangest hordes in the entire game, because their drinking location that they go to at night, they don't come rushing at you if you try to kill them. They quite literally will come at you in ones and twos. But of course, as always with nighttime locations, you have a lot more freakers about on top of the hordes that are already out, so you're potentially giving yourself more problems. During the daytime, you don't really have these issues, but now I've got the numbers so well down. Now I'm going into the cave just to finish off this lot. And yeah, you will find sometimes that some of them get stuck, but that's okay. Their numbers are so few that now there's no danger in going down to take them out. Right then, before getting to the hordes that are of 100 to 150 in strength, I want to show how you can actually respawn your throwables and explosives. Because it takes roughly about 3.5 days in order to pass before they will respawn. But if you do it in this way, and I'm going to speed up the video to show all this. This is the two areas that I'd shown in Marion Forks. Just picking up all the items. Now I am back at a nearer site. Doesn't have to be a nearer site, just anywhere that has a bed that you can get some sleep. And I'm bringing up the map here just to show the days. 748 at the moment. What I'm now looking to do is to get 7 sleeps in place. This just takes about 3 minutes or so of your time in order to advance the game on like this. And it's well worth doing because before taking on these big hordes, you want a lot of items. So at this point, I've had 7 sleeps, but I am going to get 1 more sleep in to complete this particular way of going about getting these items to respawn quickly. But very important, what I need to do now is to move to a different region. I was in Belknap, so I'm going to be obviously moving to Cascade. Once I get to Cascade, I'm going to have 1 more sleep. This will ensure that when I go back to Belknap, these items will definitely have respawned. So that's it. Unfortunately, it is night time now. I could have had another sleep just to get it back today if I wanted to, but it's no problem. Just going to head back over to Belknap again, and now I'm going to show the first area only. I don't need to show both of these areas because I picked up all these items at the same time. So if the items here have respawned, they will have respawned at the second location as well. So heading in here, and there we go. As you can see, more loot. Thank you very much. Right then, before getting to the hordes that range from 100 to 150 strong, it's worth showing the locations that you can get more explosive items and throwables in the Lost Lake and Iron Butte regions. And I'm going to start with the ones in Lost Lake first. They're both located in Sherman's Camp, and the first of these 2 locations that are very close to each other is right over here. There's an SAF there, ammunition, but it's the smoke bombs there that are the prize. Now, moving on, just have to go across the road here. It's on the roof section of the Bank of Metolius here. And this one now actually grates me a touch because on the remastered version, they've halved the amount of items that you get up here compared to what you do on the original version of Days Gone. There's scrap over there that you can get your hands on. There's ammunition up here. There's also a rifle, but it's items over here. Pick up an attractor bomb and a flashbang. In the original version, you would get 2 of each of those. Moving on to the third location, and this is just to the southeast of the Sawmill, home to the largest horde in the game. So I know you come reasonably close to them when going to this location, but this location is worth going to. There is a lot of items up here. And of course, when you're going after these larger hordes, you want to have more of these resources available. Will just make your life so much easier. So there's a body there that you can loot. There is a fire axe as well. There's also ammunition over there in the corner. But all your goodies are right here. Proximity mine, proximity bomb, frag grenade, and of course there's a med kit there as well. Now, location 4. Again, not that far away from the Sawmill. Just to the west of it. The easiest way to probably identify this one is that it is to the south of Iron Mike's camp. And it is that house right there. Now, this particular house is not accessible via the ground level. So as you can see, all the windows are boarded up and all the doors are locked. However, there is a window that you can get in on the upper floor here. And to start with, you get your hands on a remote bomb and an attractor. But that's not all, folks, because downstairs, there is more items. Just over here on this table, there is a proximity mine and a frag grenade. And as well as this, there's also some more ammunition and a shitty 9mm as well. Right then, on to the last location in Lost Lake. It's located on one of the roof sections of the trading post at Camp Pioneer. And this is in the far northwest of Lost Lake. Now, this particular location doesn't have quite as many items as some of the others, but it's definitely worth knowing about. So just a couple of climbs. There's also a weapon up here and ammunition, but those are the two items I am looking for. Proximity bomb and a pipe bomb. Now, moving on to Iron Butte. There is 3 locations in Iron Butte that you can get a lot of good items. But do remember this. Iron Butte does not open for quite some time in the game. You're well into the game before this region is unlocked. So until that time comes, then yeah, obviously you're not going to have access to these. But once it is, yes, you do need to know about these 3 locations. So this one is at the top of this cliff section. A bit of running involved and a bit of climbing involved. In fact, of all the areas that have these good items, this one is probably the most lengthy in terms of time to get to. But well worth heading up here for. Again, you can see there's a fire axe right there. There's also a med kit available. And then there's a box here full of goodies. Frag grenade, proximity bomb, and a proximity mine. Very nice. Right then, moving on to the next location in Iron Butte, and this is near a big farm building. Truth be told, it's not very far away from the previous location that I've just shown. It is right up around here. So you can get so far up here with the bike, but obviously, yeah, you get to this section, it's just a case of getting off. One climb here, then turning to my left, and there is a slight water section to get over here, but it's very shallow, so there's no issues whatsoever. Another couple of climbs, and then up here, I think you can actually get your hands on a ripper axe of all things. Yep, I'll take that. Better than the machete. There's also a body to loot, but there's a great number of items up here. Now, do be aware of this. I've picked up a few items there, but the pipe bomb is still in there. You actually have to stand on the box in order to get that last one. And the last location in Iron Butte is very near the Cloverdale facility. You cannot miss this one on the map. It is an extremely large complex. And the area that I am looking to get over to is right over here. It's actually a Ripper watchtower that you're looking to get to. And it is actually well hidden from the road, but if you know where this is, yeah, it's worth a trip. Also be aware around this section because it is a very popular spot for ambushes from the Rippers in this area. But for this final location, yeah, there's one climb, and then around the corner here, one ladder climb, and then there's a great number of items at the top here. Ammunition. There's a Molotov there. I won't be able to pick that up because I'm maxed on that, but there's frag grenade, proximity mine, a tractor bomb. There's also a smoke bomb in there as well. Right then, on to some more tactics for taking out medium-sized hordes. Anything from 100 to 150 strong I consider to be a medium-sized horde. And this one that I'm starting with is the Patgen's Lake Horde. 100 strong, and they're available to take on from the very start of the game. But I don't recommend you go near them until you've unlocked the Carry That Weight perk that allows you to carry much more resources, and of course wait until you've got an SMP9 and possibly some other better weapons at your disposal. But that area over there is where the majority of this action is going to take place. I'm going to use the lake to slow them down. Now, I have shown in the past that you can actually get over there very quickly by using the bike, but you don't even actually need the bike to do this particular method. So I'm going to set up a proximity bomb here. I don't even expect it to take out a full 20, but having the petrol can there as well will do a bit more damage. So I'm going to start with the Molotov. We'll take out a few of the numbers, but mainly to get their attention. And I want a pipe bomb over the other side. That will hopefully take out 20 of the numbers. I'm going to get a little bit of gunfire in play here, just to get their attention fully. Now I'm looking to use a smoke bomb. Slow them down a bit there. Now, I want to hug the rock line around here, do some dive rolls, keep into the most shallowest parts of the lake there, then move over so that I'm in line with the slightly deeper sections. And now, it's just a case of taking them out as they appear. Now, you also have a fantastic area here that they congregate when they're first getting into the water. And I'm going to take full advantage of that because a pipe bomb or a grenade will do the job nicely here. But look how slowly they're making their way over to my position. This is just taking advantage of the natural surroundings. Right then, moving on to the Metolius Lava Cave Horde. This is a horde located in Lost Lake. It is one of the largest in Lost Lake, I might add, 150 strong, and they are just to the north of Iron Mike's camp. You really can't pick his location for a camp because he's frickin' right in between this lot and, of course, the Sawmill Horde that are to the south. But anyhow, this area presents some interesting options. Now, one of the options that you can go with, I only recommend you doing if you have some weapons that have got some seriously good firepower to them. I mean, good bullet penetration to them. The weapons that I've got here will not quite cut it, which is why I'm not going to show this actually being done. But turning on the light, there's an area here. There's a number of areas like this in Days Gone that you can get through, but the freakers cannot. You can get over to the other side and then just lay a lot of gunfire down on them. If you have something like an MG45 or an IDF pop at your disposal, for example, then you can use that area very effectively. But the weapons that I've got just won't quite cut it here. So this is what I'm looking to do here. You can see the horde, and there is two ways in order to get over to them. I'm taking the left cave tunnel here, and I'm looking to get fairly close to them, but stay hidden. And I'm going to try and get 3 grenades away. I'm not guaranteeing I'll get a full 90 kills, but I should get at least 70 to 80 of them, depending on how they congregate after the first one goes off. Now, once I've got those 3 in play, that's already this horde reduced in a big way. Now I'm dealing with a horde that is extremely manageable. This is just another very good tactic to employ, just getting the numbers down very quickly and safely. But now, that Molotov was quite literally just to get their attention. Now I know they're coming up here. I've got that petrol can at the ready just for a few more kills, and it will actually slow them a little bit as well, because once they're on fire and whatnot, yeah, they start just walking around a bit, not knowing quite what to do. Now I'm going for an attractor. And this area here is where I'm going to finish them off. The attractor will go on for around 9 seconds, so I can pick them off nicely. But also, I don't have to worry about being flanked in a big way because I've got rocks to the right of me. So, once the attractor has done its job, now they're coming towards me. Yeah, look how easy this is. It's just all about picking the right tactics. Now then, I did say earlier that on odd occasions, nighttime kills can be advantageous. And this is one of those times, because the Metolius Lava Cave, and I'm going to their feeding grounds in order to take care of them, are very well congregated indeed. So I'm going to use nighttime stealth. But this does come with its problems. By the way, folks, for anybody who is wondering, I'm only getting to see those red spots on the map because I have completed the game already. It's only when you've completed the game that you start to get shown all these areas. So for anybody that's wondering why their map is not showing it, now you know. But my present concerns are stray freakers that are going about. You want to be taking care of these, and if you do, it needs to be quiet. I don't want that horde over there knowing my location. Yeah, and there's a lot of them that go about at night. But I've managed to remain undetected, and this is a fantastic spot. Once you're here, you can just go to town with your throwables. So that's the first one away. I always wait until the grenade has gone off because then you see them all congregate towards the explosion. And now I'm looking to go with pipe bombs. And last of all, yep, an attractor bomb. And this is the one time where I will reveal my location. But I'm not expecting any of this lot to be left by the time that goes off. And there we go. A very nice method to use for this particular horde at night time. Right then, the next horde that I'm going to take out is the Rimview Ranch Horde, and this horde you will not actually see until you get to the south. And by the way, the area that I'm taking them out from actually has a freaker nest that you have to burn first. I have already taken care of that earlier on in the game, so I'm now just seeing a cave. But what makes this location absolutely fantastic is, although they are all bunched in there, you have a number of areas that you can very safely hide and just hit them hard with throwables. When you have hordes of this size, and especially when you don't have weapons where you can really think about running and gunning options, they will come a little bit later when I get to some of the tactics for larger hordes. You really just want to take full advantage of all your resources that you have, because you want to be saving all your grenades, pipe bombs, etc. for these kind of hordes. Now, I haven't used any of my napalm molotovs yet because depending on what stage you are in the storyline in the game, you probably won't have access to them. But for these size of hordes, you don't really have to worry about napalm molotovs. If you have grenades, are fantastic. They will take out 30 every time if they're bunched like this. And not only that, you can throw them a damn sight further than napalm molotovs, so they're a damn sight safer. You'd be a lot further away from the horde. But speaking of hordes, I've got this one to finish off. So I'm actually going to reveal my position now because I'm going with an attractor to get the last of them. I know I've only got 30 left because I've thrown about 4 grenades. Now I'm just going for headshots and just try to take the last of them out with gunplay. And I will get them, there's not many left. Job done. Right then, before actually moving on to the big hordes, let's show the last locations that you can get items from in the south. Now, the first location is to the west of Wizard Island, and truth be told, folks, there's not that many areas to show you because when you get to the south, you actually have the ability to craft a lot of your items at this point. So, and for that reason, I think is why there are so few areas where you can actually pick up already ready to use items. But here, there is a proximity mine, and of course, there is ammunition in that box there as well. Now, second location is located in Tumult, and it's on the roof of the Burger Mart. Just going to bring up the map here to show exactly where this is. And do watch when you're in this particular area, because it is another hot spot for ambushes. But thankfully on this occasion I've got nothing to worry about. So just a couple of climbs in order to get onto the roof section. And the items you're looking for are right over here. As well as there being a melee weapon you can pick up there, another proximity mine, and one pipe bomb. Now, the last area, I'm not even going to actually show myself picking up this item, because it's in an area that is actually locked for a certain section of the game until you proceed so far in the storyline. But there is a grenade in that section once you do. Right then, moving on to weapon loadouts for the biggest hordes. I can't stress this enough. Before going after the hordes that are over 300 strong, that is what I consider the big hordes, you need some decent weapons. Now, I'm not using the absolute best ones. I've got an IDF pup here that I'm going to use for the majority of these methods that I show. The SMP-9 is obviously essential, but even the special weapon that I have at the bottom here, I'm using an RPD. A weapon you can obtain quite quickly when you get to the south, but if you have an MG55 at your disposal, a lot better. Obviously, for the primary as well, a Chicago chopper will do you no harm at all for taking on these big hordes. And as well as this, of course, make sure you are loaded like crazy with your throwables. And by the way, napalm molotovs should be in your arsenal at this point. Certainly for one or two of these hordes, but I recommend you wait until you actually get your hands on them before taking on hordes like this, because the napalm molotovs do an incredible amount of damage if the hordes are bunched together. So let's meet the 5 biggest hordes in the game. The Mount Bailey Horde, the Lobot Drawridge Horde, the Tumult Mission Horde, the Iron Butte Ranch Horde, and finally the biggest of them all, the Sawmill Horde. And we're going to start with the Lobot Drawridge Horde. And by the way, I'm going to be showing methods for all 5 of these hordes, and probably more than one method for each of them. And I'm going to start with my favourite horde in the entire game, the Lobot Drawridge Horde. I'm going to be using stealth and gunplay to take out the entire horde on this particular run. But worth knowing, you have so many bloody options when it comes to this horde. You've got a great number of areas from height that you can use, and one of these I am going to be using. Not only that, you've got a bridge area over there. I will be showing that in a different run. And of course, you've got another bridge area up here that can be used if you wish. It's another horde. If you start moving them away from their daytime location, they'll only chase you so far, so it's a tactic that you can employ. But this one is definitely one of the safest. Now, I'm looking to get above their position, but I'm actually going to go right across this bridge tunnel section here. I want onto this level right here. I feel this is the most advantageous spot for throwing all your items from, because once they finally come out of here, they congregate very nicely below you. If you're actually on top of the tunnel bridge section, I wouldn't say it's more difficult, but you've got more chance of being seen. That is very important. A lot of this here, when you're taking on a horde like this, and I've started off with an attractor just to get their attention, get them out. Now I'm going with these napalm Molotovs. Now, of course, with most people that will be playing this on normal, you will have the use at this point of survival vision. Use it. You want to stay hidden so that you're not going to get any of this lot coming up to your position, but you want to make sure that they're in the spots where you're throwing your items. So right now, I'm hitting the Lobart Drawridge Horde hard with these napalm Molotovs. If I haven't already mentioned, the Lobart Drawridge Horde is 300 strong. So if you were simply using grenades, you're going to take a freaking long time to get the numbers down. But these napalm Molotovs, that's what they're brought into the game for taking care of hordes of this size. So I could keep going with the napalm Molotovs, but I've decided now just to move to some grenades. Try and get a little bit more accuracy here by getting an attractor into play first, of course. Having them bunch up. Still must be quite a few because I didn't see too much in the way of them being destroyed there. But now I've revealed my position. Now they're coming after me, but I have the height advantage. This is another reason why I do not mind showing my position this late on. Their numbers are very low and they've got to climb like crazy to get to my position from that side. Now, the only disadvantage with this spot up here is they can hit you from two sides, of course, but their numbers are so low that it's all very controllable. It's why I wait so long before revealing where I am. And now it's just a cleanup. There's not many of them left. In fact, this next one should be the last. Right then, folks, for the second run, going to use a completely different set of tactics. This is very full on, and this is making use of the environment that is presented to you here, because there is a lot of vehicles that you can climb on. You've got the carriages there that you can use, and I'm going to take them close to their limit up here because they very rarely go past this section, or their numbers are so low when they get to this section that they're easy to take care of. But I'm going to create a little bit of a blockade there, and that will just give me a little bit of extra protection. But now I'm going to head right on over, and yeah, definitely going to use these carriages in order to give myself a bit of time. There's going to be a lot of gunplay going on with this particular way of taking out this horde. But worth knowing, I don't even consider this the best tactic to be using for this particular horde. I'm going to leave that until the very last run. So of course, it's a 300 strong horde, the Lobart Drawridge Horde, so I want to get two attractors in play. Then I want to hit them with two napalm Molotovs. It's a 300 strong horde, you're wanting to reduce them to a much smaller horde. So from here now they're doing their climb of death. Their death, of course. This is why you need to have better weapons when you're going after these hordes. You can do some incredible damage with these weapons. Okay, start to get a little bit overwhelmed there, that's no problem. Coming off that area and heading over to this one. And again, I could hit them hard with some throwables here, but I'm just happy hitting them off with some gunplay. You really have options, how you feel about doing things. But now, yeah, they're going to be running the gauntlet across this bridge, so of course I'm making sure that their numbers are contained within this bridge. Very rarely you'll get any that are actually going to go under the bridge to get to your position. They're all going to head at you, head on, and they're now just set up so well to be taken out. It's just not fair on the horde, to be quite honest. But yes, once I get the numbers to being heavily reduced, which they are now, because I can hardly see any of them, now I'm moving forward with my position and I'm just headhunting. Right then, folks, I just had to show this particular method for taking out the Lobart Drawridge Horde, because this just... it's very creative and it's very effective on a number of levels. Now, I'm going to get that bike placed there. It's not going to stop them by any means, but it's certainly going to slow them down. And the position where I start all this from is what makes this method absolutely fantastic. I'm just getting that petrol can over there because I will use it. But this position here, the Horde have a long way to run to in order to get to you. And they take a very specific route in order to come after you. And you can absolutely destroy them, because any time that you can get a large Horde in a choke point is when you can do the most amount of damage to them. So I am actually going into focus mode at the start, because I'm just trying to make sure that any of the stragglers at the front, well, they're not stragglers, but the ones at the front, I'm wanting them all heavily bunched when they get to this spot, because now, while they're looking to climb this area, because this is the way they go all the time, now I'm hitting them hard with napalm molotovs. They are going to get decimated here. I'm waiting until the napalm is just about done its job with that lot, and then hit another one there. Now I'm moving. From here now, they've got one way to get to me. And they're all going to die trying. So I'm looking to get that petrol can into play. Just a few more kills. But now this lot, yep, they're going to have to chase me. Bit of running and gunning here, but I'm looking to get to another advantageous position. And any time where you can get to a position of height where they are having to climb to get to you is one of the best tactics you can possibly employ, with any Horde for that matter. And I've got a number of good fast-firing weapons. The only thing that you have to be aware of when taking out a Horde like this is that you can get got at from the other side. And I can see from the minimap that, yeah, there was some trying to get to my position. But they are so few in numbers, nothing to worry about. Job done. Right then, moving on to what I consider to be the hardest Horde in the game to take out, the Mount Bailey Horde. They are 300 strong. They are located in the west area of Crater Lake. And it's the daytime location, again, that I'm going to be looking to take this lot out from, because there is an option, or there's an argument, I should say, for going about taking them out at night from the drinking location. But Crater Lake at night is absolutely brimming with freakers and whatnot. Not only that, you've got wildlife around here as well that can give you a lot of problems. So what I'm looking to do is to, first of all, another tactic that I've not actually shown yet, but it's a very effective one. I'm looking to place a couple of remote bombs. These are not to take out any of the freakers. These are actually just going to be as a distraction, because at some point I'm going to need this Horde to just back off. Most people would think, this is the perfect bush area to start taking them out from. It has its uses, but not in the way that I want to take them out, because you will eventually get seen from that position. They start moving towards your position way too quickly, whereas up here, yeah, you have a much better chance of staying hidden for a lot longer. The downside to this location is that you've got to get them quite close before you can use napalm molotovs. It is a trade-off. So at the very start, I'm going to be just trying to hit them hard with grenades. So now I've got the attractor in play, just waiting for them all to come out. Now I'm going to start hitting them with grenades. I tend to try and just keep them all placed in the one area with the grenades, because every time the explosion goes off, the freakers tend to run in towards the explosion. So they do very briefly bunch. Of course, because there's 3 of them coming out of this cave, you're guaranteed you're going to get quite a number of kills every time with the grenades regardless. Now I'm just moving to pipe bombs, and an attractor will get into play here as well. Won't take out a great deal of them, but again we'll bunch them up. Now, I will eventually make my position known to this horde, but I will only do it once I have their numbers down to a level where they are manageable. And at this point, I've also taken the time to detonate those 2 remote bombs. It's just keeping them at a good distance, because if you don't watch what you're doing, the horde's numbers can start to get to you, even in this position, quite quickly. So it's just all about control here. Again, just going with more of these. At this stage in the game, when you're finally taking on these large hordes, there's a lot of these items that you can actually craft. And if you get some of the camps to trust level 3, you can actually buy grenades from them. So you should be pretty well stocked when you come up against any of these larger hordes. And make sure that you are. Now, I'm getting close to revealing where I am here because I know their numbers are well down. And the beauty of this area is I do have a good escape route. So here we go. They're going for the attractor bomb, but I'm more concerned now for the ones that are coming towards me. Okay, time to go. One dive roll over the edge of the cliff here. Take a little bit of damage, but not much. And that's it. Now, they are all running the other way in order to get over to my position. They will not come over the cliff. Or, on odd occasions, you might get 1 or 2 that actually get over that cliff edge. But you just make sure to take them out before they get a chance to do anything. And right now, I know where they're all coming from. I'm making sure that I'm not going to get badly flanked because I've got rocks to my left. Again, it's just, with the larger hordes, just employing tactics that are solid in order to get the job done. Now, this next one is much more full on, but it's also an awful lot quicker. And this time I am going for a much nearer bushes section in order to start the attack from, because I want to get a few napalm molotovs in play quite quickly, and then I'm going to show a tactic that I've not really shown too much of at all, and it's what I consider to be the best way in order to use mines. It's risky, but it is exceptionally effective, especially on larger hordes like this. So once I get this lot out, they are going to get hit hard with these napalm molotovs. And you can see already the problems I've got, even though I'm much closer than what I was in the previous location. Yeah, it's difficult to actually get the molotov thrown right over. I'm actually close to revealing my position at times by trying to get so close. But again, now it's a little bit of control, because otherwise I'm going to get seen quite quickly. Just want to take them away from my position a bit here. Get them bunched. Get another napalm molotov in play. Yep, I'll get away with one more here. Now I'm going to get ready to rock and roll. Proximity mines at the ready. Remember, proximity mines do 30 damage if they're heavily bunched. Proximity bombs only do 20. So it's place and dive roll. Again, heavily bunched there, place and dive roll. And I'm going to do it a third time right there. That will do nicely. Now I've got my escape route already taken care of. Just checking to see if any got over. Yes, 1 or 2 of them did. I'm going to take care of them right now. Okay, I know where the last attack is going to be coming from. So I want to get a focus cocktail in place for this. Health cocktails are never a bad thing to be using when you're taking on larger hordes, of course. I don't expect to take any damage, but you never know. And here they come. So the attractor is in place now. I'm just looking for time. And of course, with the focus cocktail that I've now got in place, yeah, looking at just try and take out the last of these without any drama whatsoever. Plus, when you have good weapons like this, why not use them? Right then, next up is a Tumult Mission Horde, but do be aware of this before even attempting to take them on. Check out the items that are left for you before attempting to take them on, because there's 5 napalm molotovs, 4 remote bombs, and ammunition. If you're looking just to get on the bike quickly, you can miss these, so worth knowing about. Right then, for this horde folks, I'm only going to be showing one run because although you have some good stealth options available to you from where they all start, this area has so much in the way of explosives all over the place, in the way of barrels and tankers. I feel it's the only way you should ever go about taking out this horde, because you can save on your resources. You don't even need that much in the way of ammunition. I'm just getting a few shots off to get the party started here, and now I'm getting a tractor into play, and this is the one time where I am actually using a Chicago chopper. If you have one of these available to use for horde killing, do so. It's a faster firing weapon than the IDF pup that I have been showing, and it holds more ammunition as well. But now, I'm just taking this lot on a run. They are going to be running the gauntlet in a big way trying to get to me, and they will all perish. There are barrels upon barrels all over this place. Quite simply, one shot every time will take out so many other numbers. I'm already down to, well, just over half the numbers, but a big tanker up here that I'm going to take full advantage of. I will actually place in a tractor just so that I get the numbers beside that tanker. There we go. That one will take out around 50. I have a little bit of time here, so yeah, just get a little bit more gunplay there. And from here, stand the cocktail. And I won't get a vast amount of kills here with that, but it's there, so I might as well use it. But there is another tanker over here that I'm going to take advantage of. And now I'm going to take advantage of a fence line, because there's another gap over here. In fact, there's a couple of gaps in this fence line. As soon as you're through this, that's it. The horde's redirecting itself. Now, I could use that area to great effect, to just making them run all the way over here and then all the way back again by going in and out of that fence line area. But I'm not going to, because there's a lot more in the way of explosive items even coming around here. I'm going to take full advantage of them.
You like that? Do you?
Yep. Now there's not much left. In fact, after this barrel here, yeah, now I'm just looking to pick off the last of what's left.
This way, boy! Hurry,
Yep.
please. Please just tell me.
This is how you make full use of an area that is overrun with explosives.
You wiped out an entire horde.
Right then, moving on to the Iron Butte Ranch Horde. And again, I'm going to show an explosives run for this particular horde. Because again, the area in which you're taking them on in is absolutely loaded with explosives. And on this area, you have no less than 4 very large tankers that you can use that guaranteed will take out 50 freakers every time. Also worth noting, there is a US 556 over there that you can get your hands on should you wish to use it. But at this point you should have better weapons anyhow. But there is one tanker there, another over there, another over there, and the last one right over here. Those 4 tankers alone will take out 2/3 of this horde. And when you see how many other explosives there are here, yeah, I always feel that this should be your number one way of taking out this particular horde. But do make sure you have some stamina cocktails at the ready, and one attractor. One attractor I will use at the very end. But other than that, this will be around 7 or 8 shots in order to get this done. So, Just a run by here, get their attention. Let the carnage commence. First 50 will perish right here.
Oh, just a few more.
Now, quick breather. And I'm looking to get over to this next section. And again, now these vehicles here, very important to know about them because the Horde can only get to you via the front of those vehicles. So they're very handy in order to bunch up a Horde when you want to get the numbers like that. And that's precisely what I use that for there. Now moving on to this next section. Again, perfect time to get them bunched. Now I'm going to hit that barrel. Not only are you going to get the explosive kill there, but the logs that come down from that log pile will take out a few more of the numbers as well. But now I'm going to get a stamina cocktail in play, and it's moving over to the next section. There's a barrel there that I can use, but I'm not going to bother with it. Again, just want to make sure that I've got them well bunched for the next tanker. Obviously, make sure I get my distance.
Almost done.
And now, I'm looking to climb up another one of these vehicles. I know I don't have to worry about any action from behind me. They're all coming up the front section of that truck. Now I'm looking to get over to here. Another one shot, that'll take out another 20 of them. And finally, I want one attractor in place right there, and then I'm moving past that vehicle very quickly. All I have to do now is to wait for the last of them to congregate around there. And I deliver the coup de grace. Job done. Now then, before taking on this Horde for the last time, a couple of things to mention about them. This Horde are the only ones that are not territorial. If they can see you, they'll chase you from one side of the map to the other. And the second thing is this. If you take out this Horde from outside of this ranch area, the kills will count for nothing. You will not pick up any free careers, you'll have wasted your resources, and when you come back to this area, they'll have respawned. So do be aware of that. But right now, I'm looking to attack them hard from this position, because I can rain down napalm molotovs on them. Because I've got a height advantage as well, I can throw them a little bit further. And I really am going to hit them with everything here. A number of grenades and whatnot. I can even get a grenade thrown down here because they're going to congregate just below this truck. After that, I'm looking to explode this tanker. That will take out another 50 of their numbers. Honestly, this is one of the quickest ways that you can actually take out this Horde. Going to get a few headshots here. Very nice. Just need to reload the IDF pop. Then I'm going to use this vehicle here, devastating effect, because I'm not using it for a breather this time. There's only one direction that they can get me from here, and they're not going to get near me. Right then folks, couldn't possibly have a video without showing the largest Horde in the game. That is the Sawmill Horde. 500 strong, and an incredible amount of ways that you can take this lot out with. By now, and I've been shown for all of the largest Hordes, just a mixture of all the best tactics and strategies that you can employ. And this lot are going to be no different. Just going to have a quick look here to show some potential areas. That bridge section over there is fantastic. I'm going to show a run employing that. You also have the bridge that I'm on here, and not only that, there's another bridge over there as well. You also have a number of height advantages that you can use from the buildings at the sawmill. And not only that, there is a tunnel very near the Sawmill Horde that can be used to devastating effect. Right there. But for this run, I'm going to be simply using the height advantages as well as a number of other tactics to get value for money with these kills. And by the way, yes, there is a tanker over there. I will be using that too. So, unfortunately, the weather's not the best for this particular takeout here, but most of the time it is like this here. So, get the party started with a pipe bomb. As always, of course, you should be loaded with as much items as possible before taking on this lot. I just want to make sure that I've got their full attention. Now that they're on their way, I'm looking to create a choke point right here. Tractor down, now I'm going to hit them hard with some napalm molotovs. You can't stay on this area for very long because the Horde are going to get up to your position. But now I'm moving. I want another tractor in place just to get a decent amount of kills for that tanker there. And now I'm moving on to one of the sections where they haven't attacked me, where I have a height advantage. And not only that, I have a huge advantage here because, like a number of building areas, there's only one way to get to this one. And it's these particular building areas that I am going to hit this Horde hardest with. I could have stayed in this section for quite a bit longer, but I'm going to move on. Now there's some wood traps that you can use here. I'm going to use one of these right now, then go to my special, which is the RPD. Again, they're bunched nicely there, but I'm going to be moving on. Again, going to be moving to another area where I have a huge height advantage, and not only that, yeah, they're all having to take this route in order to get to my position. Or most of them are, sorry. There are one or two that will eventually get to me via other means, but it's going to take them quite some time to do that. While they are taking their time, yeah, just hitting them hard. No mercy for this lot. Yeah, just actually taking the time there to check and see what is coming towards my position. You know what, that's enough. Now, I'm just going to make sure to do a dive roll when coming off that building. That way you take minimal damage. Now, yeah, we might as well take advantage of that there.
Plant some traps.
But I am going to have to wait just to get the numbers. Nice. Okay. Not many of them left. I'm going to go to the last height position here, but I am going to leave an attractor down there just so that I have them all grouped. It will also give me a good idea of just what weapon, or sorry, what throwable I need to use. Okay, I can see right there, I don't need a grenade, because there's not even 20 of them there, so that will do the job nicely. Right then, moving on to another method that I talked about, using the tunnel. This is still one of the best ways possible in order to take out this Horde, because it is one of the safest. It really is. It's another one that employs the tactic of pushing this lot to the limit when it comes to the boundaries. And of course, at the very end here, I've also got saddlebags now on the bike, so I can restock on ammo should I need to. But I've got another surprise waiting for this lot. This lot are going to be running the gauntlet as they come through here. They are going to be, well, the first wave certainly is going to be decimated. But it's a 500 strong Horde, so again, I'm going to be employing tactics at the beginning to get their numbers reduced significantly. And you know what, I think I'll just go with a grenade this time. There is a barrel inside the first section of this sawmill here. And I didn't get it on that occasion. Okay, here we go again. This is just more of the same from the first run. It's a very effective tactic. They're coming in large numbers here and they're bunching very nicely, so might as well hit them hard at that choke point. And now I just want to have some of my weapons ready. Stamina cocktail, yes, definitely. I don't really want to be doing too much in the way of actually using the gunplay right now. Let the mines do their job.
Ah, shit, more of them.
And I can use the train track here just to ensure that I'm definitely going the right way. Now, they've already lost a bit of interest. Some of them are coming up here, but I'm far enough away and I have a weapon that is quite decent ranged wise that I'm now doing some good damage here to them and safely. I will leave that mine up there in place because I will be using this tunnel again.
Is that all of them? Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus.
But right now, just slowly moving up position-wise. And I've realised that I am quite low on ammunition here. There are better weapons that you can be using than this. I'm just using these ones to show that even with not using the Chicago Chopper or an MG55, you can still take out these hordes with using just good, solid, effective tactics. Now I've got the next wave coming, because this horde does tend to come at you in 2 waves, which is no bad thing. And okay, a little bit of focus is going to have to be used here because I've just got a little bit too close for my liking, but that's what the focus is for. And I still have some more mines in place. Unfortunately, the first one's not going to be fantastically effective. Second one, yeah, a lot better. They were a lot more bunched. Okay, there is one more that I want to show, and it's using the bridge down in the bottom section here. Now, again, a number of tactics that I'm going to employ here. But this is a very solid way of taking them out indeed. And I'm going to place the bike in a very strange position like that. Now, it's not going to stop this horde by any means, but it just starts to funnel them nicely. You'll see how this plays out. Obviously, I'm just making sure that I've got enough room to get through there myself. And of course, I'm going to be using some mines as well. The attack point here is going to be slightly different to what I've been using, but again, taking advantage of height. You always want to be doing this for any horde to reach your position. If they're having to climb to get to you, it's giving you more time to inflict damage. So here we go, and the snow is back again, so it's a lot. Okay, they're taking their sweet time here, but that's all right. Again, a nice spot there to have an attractor. Not only that, you do have a nice sort of choke point here where they're all trying to get over the fence line there. So I'm going to get a napalm Molotov down in the bottom section there, because obviously they're congregating there. And now I want one right there. And the horde have been surprisingly quick in getting to my position. So I am getting ready to go on a bit of a run here, but let's get another napalm Molotov there. I don't recommend trying that tactic, actually doing a dive roll through the flames, but I got away with that one there. Now they're coming down. Now they're going to get hit hard with these mines as they're coming down, because their numbers are great at this point. So I can take time to get a few shots off right now. But now just watch how effective this is going to be.
More of them.
It just funnels their numbers very nicely. And it keeps it controllable here. Obviously, if I had a Chicago chopper, would make the job even a little bit easier. But the IDF pop is still a fast enough firing weapon to be very effective. Of course, for the special weapon, I would recommend, if you have the chance of using an MG55, to use it. The RPD is slightly better than an MG45. It is a good weapon. I choose to show that one because the RPD you can purchase from Wizard Island as soon as you get to trust level 1. So not a difficult weapon to get your hands on. And the IDF pop you can actually have unlocked before you even get to the south for the very first time. So just using weapons that I know everybody should be able to get their hands on very easily. Now, their numbers now are hugely diminished, and I'm now pushing them with the boundaries of how far they're going to go. And I am going to have some of them try and attack me from the other side, but I don't have to worry about them yet, because it's going to take them quite some time to get round to this position. It's quite a run. But I'm seeing now on the minimap, yep, something's come behind us. I didn't actually think they were that close, but never mind, it's all good. And this is just another way of making light work of what is supposed to be the toughest horde in the game, given their numbers. The location for the Sawmill Horde makes them, in my opinion, not one of the toughest at all. Yes, they're high in numbers, but the options that you have for a horde of this size are just insane. And there we go. The last of those freakers were essentially stragglers, because you're always going to pick up some extra anyhow in any horde battle. And there we have it, folks. That is my guide to effectively taking out any hordes in the Days Gone game. By making sure that you get yourself the right advantages from the very start, and using rock solid and effective tactics and methods in order to take out the hordes, you can get through them all with very little bother. And that brings me very nicely to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Take care.